Amano shrimp, probably the most hard-working animal that you can get for your tank. They are great at cleaning your tank from algae, food leftovers, decaying leaves, and even dead shrimp or fish. And because of this, they are just loved by fish tank enthusiasts. But before you decide on buying them, it's a good idea to understand their requirements. So how to start with keeping them? How to keep your colony of Amanos in good shape? By the end of that video, you will know everything to keep them happy and healthy. Let's get started. Amano shrimp are a great addition to any aquarium. They are very active, show interesting behaviors, they look cute, and they are very peaceful. And this makes them a great choice for community tank. They are ideal companions for many types of non-aggressive fish like tetras, guppies, platies, rasboras, corridoras, and so on. And they can share their home with other shrimp like Caridina's and even different types of snails. The only fish you should be careful about are bigger fish that could treat Amanos as food, meaning for example big South American cichlids. In general, stick to the rule that if Amano can fit into the mouth of your fish, it will end up in there. But also based on my personal experience, apistos are a bit risky because of their territorial nature. So, in general, try to avoid fish that show signs of aggression, just in case. Now, let's talk about their living conditions. Lots of people approach Amanos exactly like smaller cherry shrimp. And this is a mistake in my opinion. It's because they can grow much bigger, reaching up to 5 centimeters. And they also really like to live in groups. I would say that they start showing their best behaviors in groups of at least 5. So I wouldn't recommend them to any nano tank. In my view, minimum tank size for them is about 30-35 liters. And there is another reason for this. Amanos are excellent jumpers and can climb really high. So your tank cannot be too small because they can simply escape from it. But even in bigger tanks, it's a good idea to place a lid on top or not to fill it to the maximum. Keeping few centimeters of extra space between water surface and top of your tank will be a really good idea. And see this? Any type of tubing and cable, this is like an invitation for them to climb. So it's a good idea to secure places like this one. Amanos thrive in densely planted tanks with some hiding spots made out of driftwood and rocks. It seems to make them feel more secure. Additionally, rocks and wood are natural places for algae development. So even if you don't see any algae on them, those rocks and wood provide Amanos with constant access to microalgae or biofilm. Regarding water conditions, they are not that picky. pH between 6.5–7.6 will be just perfect. Amanos are not the biggest fans of very high temperatures, so try to stay below 27 degrees Celsius if possible. On the other hand, they do tolerate some cooler conditions and would do just fine even below 20 degrees Celsius. Just like in case of other shrimp, they prefer stable environment. So those parameters, they don't have to be perfect, they just shouldn't change very suddenly. So keep that in mind when you do water changes. Regarding GH, it's important not to keep them in very soft water. It's because they need some minerals to build their exoskeleton molds. So it's not the worst idea to add some shrimp minerals in case your water is on the softer side. Like in case of many other shrimp, try to keep the ammonia and nitrate levels as low as possible. so it's highly recommended to include them to fully cycled tanks. Now let's talk about food and diet. Yes, it is not a myth. Amanos are real algae killers. They are probably one of the best in the business and are really hardworking when it comes to cleaning your tank. They are very effective against many green types like dust or hair algae, but can also graze on blackbeard algae, but only in extreme scenarios when they are really hungry. But all of this doesn't mean that you don't have to feed them at all. It's a similar story like with autosynclus. If you have many Amanos and your tank looks clean, you do need to feed those guys because they might just starve. It's good to supplement their diet with some plant-based sinking pellets, algae wafers, and even some vegetables like zucchini or cucumber. And one other thing, they don't eat healthy plants. You might see them eating decaying leaves and some loose parts, but not healthy plants. The same goes with fish. If you see your Amanos eating dead fish, that doesn't mean that it killed it. That means that your fish died for some other reason, and your shrimp are just eating their body. Yes, they are scavengers, and it can definitely happen. And here I have to again mention their molts. When you see something like this, don't worry, it's not a dead shrimp. This is a molt, and it's a good sign that everything is working as it should be. You can just leave it in the tank because other shrimp might eat it for some extra minerals. And now let's go over some common mistakes that you should avoid. First, don't place them in uncycled tanks. Yes, I know I already mentioned it, but this is really important, so please have this in mind. Ammonia and nitrates are real enemies of shrimp and can lead to their deaths. Second, avoid chemicals and strange medications. Just like many other shrimp, they are sensitive to copper and heavy metals in high concentrations. And I mention concentrations because there is a strange myth circulating that copper will kill your shrimp immediately. No, it's a trace element that is necessary like many others. Just don't use medications that have high doses of it. That's it. Next thing, overfeeding. Yes, Amanos are scavengers, and they do eat a lot. This is how they spend their day. And I guess it's easy to think that they need a lot of food. But remember that excess food can lead to really poor water quality, which can be harmful to them. So, of course, you have to feed them when it's necessary, but make sure that this food gets eaten in few minutes. If it stays in your tank for hours, you are giving them too much. And finally, remember to properly acclimate your shrimp. Every time you place them in a new tank, try to slowly even out all water parameters, not only temperature. Remember, they really hate sudden changes. For that reason, using drip acclimation is also a very good idea. Since I started doing that, my death ratio is close to 0. Those points are based on my experience, so you don't have to treat this list as like an ultimate guide. If you have any more suggestions, please share in the comments, because we can all benefit from it. Now, before closing, I want to briefly mention one other thing: breeding. In case of Amanos, it's very challenging. Yes, you will see females carrying eggs. This is expected. But unless you are willing to go through crazy process of moving larvae into the brackish waters, don't count on them growing in your freshwater tank. I mention this so you don't get disappointed. It's really not like in case of cherry shrimp. So just to quickly summarize, Amanos are just great addition to any freshwater tank. They are really helpful to keep algae under control, and they will help you clean your tank. All they are asking for their hard work is that you keep them in groups, place them in densely planted cycled tank, keep the water parameters stable, and make sure that their tank mates are not shrimp killers. In exchange, they will keep working hard and make your tank much more diverse. If you have any more advice, please write them in the comments. If you like the video, please leave a like, it really helps me out. But for now, thank you very much for watching and see you in the next one.